Good morning. So I'm doing the live a little early today only because a tree fell in our front yard and hit my car. So I have to take it into a body shop today to see what that's going to cost to fix. Fun times. So today I want to talk about a topic that bothers me a lot every time I hear it come up. And the title is supposed to grab your attention again. So, I don't want to know what you think of my body. This goes for just about everyone. I say just about because if I ask you, yeah, I want to know. If I don't, then it applies to you. I don't want to know. This is something that comes up a lot when we start talking about sexual harassment in the workplace, and a lot of men I've heard get defensive and say, well, I don't even know it's appropriate anymore. I don't even know. I feel like I can't even compliment a woman. If that's your reaction, you probably shouldn't be. Just saying. The thing is, we don't want to be sexually harassed. That doesn't mean we don't want to be complimented. But there's a really big difference between the two. Sexual harassment usually has a lot more to do with you expressing interest in us sexually. And that's okay outside of the workplace to an extent. So, like if I'm at a bar having a couple drinks and some guy feels the need to come up and tells me he thinks I'm attractive, that's okay. I will reply back with, I'm taken, but I appreciate the compliment. If you can move on, then that's fine. A lot of the times, that's not the problem. The problem is the other people who then reply back with, if in the bar scenario, well, he's not here now, is he? Or, I don't know, they start calling you names because suddenly, well, why are you here dressed like that if you're already taken? You're just teasing all of us. If he's not there, it's usually because he's tired or I'm out doing something with friends. Or he's in the bathroom. And the way I dress isn't so I can attract you. It's because I thought it was a nice outfit. Some days it's a t-shirt. Some days it's a tank top. Some days it's a nice blouse. It depends on how I'm feeling. It is not for your benefit. It's for mine. So in that scenario, that's the problem. It's not that you came up and gave us a compliment. It was because your reaction was either to undermine our relationship that we're in or to get frustrated with us because you were only coming over to express interest because you wanted to have some sort of relationship with us or you wanted something from us. If you can just come up and express interest, either say, hey, I really think you're pretty, or you're attractive, or you were really nice when you laugh, or we had a really nice conversation, those are acceptable compliments, and you have to be able to walk away from that. So I should be able to walk up to anybody and say, hey, that dress looks nice, or that shirt's really pretty on you, or your makeup is amazing today. And these are all things that I've done before, and it's never been received poorly because I just proceed to, hey, you look good today. Just thought you should know. And I usually walk away. Sometimes I pause for a second because they want to say thank you or whatever, or return the compliment. But I walk away. The only reasons I would stay is if she wanted to have a conversation with me, or he wanted to have a conversation with me. That's fine. But it's when you are trying to assume that because you've come and given somebody attention that you deserve something in return, that's the problem. And this also applies to the workplace, but the workplace has a little bit of more stricter guidelines. Because if I'm going to a bar, there is a small chance that I might be looking for somebody. It happens. We're all single. We've done it before. Well, I'm not anymore, but anyway. We've been there. I might be looking for somebody, or I might be in a park and it's in a public place and I don't mind meeting new people. But if I'm in the workplace, I'm not here to meet new people. I'm here to do my job. That is, unless my job is to meet people. But the point remains, I am not here to further my own agenda. I am here because this is what my job entails. So if you're going out, socializing as part of your job, you don't usually want to be hit on. You usually want to discuss what you do or who you're representing or so on and so forth. If You are in a fast food restaurant. You're not here to go get chatty with people. Or either the cashier who's there to take an order, or you're the cook who's there who's trying to get food out on time. You could be in a service industry, like you work in retail and so on. You're there to make sure that the shelves stay stocked, or that customers can find what they're looking for, or you're again in the cashier and just trying to get people out of line. You are there to perform a duty. You usually don't want to be hit on here. Now, there's break times, there's down times if it's a little slow. Like when I was a server, when it got slow, we would all kind of get together and just wait together until somebody came in to go take care of them, or we would discuss who was doing what duties. But sometimes we would just sit there and chat with each other, and that was fine. But if you were going to be hitting on me at that point, I can't leave, which can make me feel trapped because I'm working and I can't just leave. Doesn't matter how slow it is. I can't really get away. We are going to be in the same building for the next couple of hours at least, because that's a shift. And so now you've just made the situation uncomfortable. Now, if there was like a previous, like if me and my husband worked together and he decided to come over and hit on me, then it would usually be okay, because we've already had this previous relationship that we have already agreed on that it's okay or it's not okay depending on what we talk about. But if you're there and you're trying to hit on this person, you usually want to limit it to after work hours, before work, probably not before, but I mean outside of working hours. You can even, as you're leaving, leave them your number and say, hey, I thought you were attractive and I'm leaving now, but here's my number. If you're also interested, let me know. Those are a lot more along the lines of okay. And then it comes to the whole managerial, upper management and all of that stuff. If you were trying to hit on somebody who is below you in the ranks, don't do it. Because you are the person who is blocking their advancement. Because if they turn you down, it can be awkward because they still have to report to you. They still have to talk to you. They still need your approval to move up in the ranks if that is their goal. Usually, it's your job to make sure that they're doing their job and that everything is going well, and if they want to move over, get a promotion or whatever, you're the one they're going to ask, well, what do you think of them? And they don't want that uncomfortable, well, I turned him down on a date, or he was hitting on me and I felt really uncomfortable. We want it to be based on our merits. And this goes both ways. That's why I'm not being very gender exclusive. It's women, you shouldn't hit on guys either, okay? Not in the workplace. And of course, there's always going to be some places where that's just their relationship or that's how it works for them. But unless you have that already in place, or there's an understanding that it is okay between you two, or there's not a workplace policy preventing you, don't do it. Simple as that. Wait until after hours. If you are in a bar or your workplace has a thing that, okay, we're all going to go to happy hour now because it's been a long day, and you go and you hang out and you want to express interest, that's fine. But not in the workplace. And you have to learn to be okay with, if this person rejects you, can you still go to work the next day and be a professional? If the answer is no, don't do it, because you still have to work with this person. And they don't want to feel like if they reject you, or they're not okay with the advancement or whatever, they don't want to feel like, well, now I have to go somewhere else, or now my job is in jeopardy, or now I won't be able to advance in my career as quickly as I wanted to. Your interest in them should have absolutely nothing to do with their career. And this is part of why I take so much issue when I hear a lot of particularly older guys, some younger guys, complain about, well, I don't even know what's appropriate anymore. If you don't want somebody saying it to you, what was it? Okay, I have to say it right, because if I say it wrong, I'm going to be upset later. But there was this whole thing that you shouldn't say anything to a woman that you wouldn't want to hear from a guy in prison. I think it's really funny because it's fairly appropriate, and it's been a big thing that people believe that might be where homophobia comes in, because well, I don't want that guy to take advantage of me. It's like, yeah, well, we think the same thing too. And there's all of this things that we can compare it to. There's been people who say, don't say it if you wouldn't want somebody to say it to your wife or to your daughters. And, when they're talking about sexual harassment or women being taken advantage of, people always say, well, it could be your sister, it could be your friend, it could be your mother, it could have been your grandmother. And it's like, my biggest argument with that is it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't have to relate it to somebody that you care about to care. That is another human being who deserves the same dignity and respect that anybody else would. So the biggest takeaway from this topic is think before you act. Actually take it into consideration. And is this a compliment that you would think is flattering or insulting? When you go out and someone says, hey, you look good in that dress, that's flattering most of the time. Or, hey, I think your makeup is really nice. Or you look really pretty. If you're just kind of going out in a general environment, like you're walking up to someone at a bar, those are things that you can notice and you can want to go and acknowledge. And I've done that before when I'm at social events. Sometimes if I see some woman rocking this amazing dress, I have to go and say something because I think she should hear it. And a lot of the times they appreciate that. But then there's a line of, I don't go up there and say, hey, your body looks great in that dress. No, it's, you look nice in it. And we don't always want to hear all of the sexual side of it. Most people aren't really interested to hear that you are sexually interested in them, because then it makes people uncomfortable. You want to be a little bit nicer, a little bit kinder. And if you're having a conversation with someone, you can say, hey, you're really passionate about that subject. Or you seem to be very knowledgeable in this field. Is this something that you've studied? And go on and take a more personal interest in them as a person. It's okay to be interested in someone romantically or sexually or in that kind of way. It is not okay to... That's the word I'm looking for. It's not okay to marginalize them into just that. That's all they could be to you. And that's one of the biggest things that we don't like from compliments. We don't want to be seen as a sexual object. We want to be seen as a person. We want to be seen as an individual. You can tell a guy to a guy, hey, you look good, or hey, those shoes are really nice, or those pants look good. Boots, hats, button-downs, whatever you want to talk about. People stop my husband all the time because he's got very sarcastic science-related shirts and they're his favorite. And so people will stop and say, want to read it and say, hey, that's a really cool shirt. And things like that are okay. But we can't seem to translate that to women as easily for some reason. I've only occasionally worn t-shirts that people will notice and compliment. One of them is my favorite shirt, which is my T-Rex shirt, which has a little, the things you get at, the zoo, the claw ones with the little T-Rex at the end. And he's got one in each hand, and he goes, I am unstoppable. People will stop me and compliment that they think it's a funny shirt, which is part of the reason I wear it, because it's one of my favorite shirts, because it's funny. But when I'm wearing a nice blouse, nobody will stop me for that, but I'll still get those sexual looks and all of that, and it's just not comfortable. That's not what we're looking for. Which brings me to the next subject, which is, do not call out to a person on the street when you are in a car to let them know that you think they're attractive. Don't do it. It's uncomfortable and it's uncalled for. If we are walking on the street, either we're going to the grocery store, or we're walking from one place to the next, or we're just out for a stroll, we do not want to know what you are thinking from a moving car. Do not follow us, do not catcall us, do not yell anything at us. Other than things like, watch out, or be careful, or looks like it's gonna rain, maybe some useful information. That is usually okay. If you're gonna try to yell at us saying, hey, you look good, or I need whatever, I'm not even gonna go there. All of the weird stuff that we've heard over time. But those things are inappropriate. We don't want to hear. A lot of times, it just makes us really scared. Because we don't want to hear it. We don't know if you're going to decide to turn around and pick us up. Literally. And that's not something that any of us like going through. And it's one of the reasons why we feel uncomfortable doing things like taking a walk. I am quite terrified to take a walk in the neighborhood that I'm in. Mostly just because I don't want to get catcalled. I don't want people to be bugging me. I don't want people to try to get a hold of me. I want to be left alone and I want to walk. I want to exercise. I want to do something. I don't want to feel like I have to drive like 5-10 minutes to the nearest park. And even then it happens there. We need to start teaching people that that's not okay. Leave people alone. And again, there's a really big difference between like if I'm sitting down and I'm relaxing and I'm obviously not as busy and you want to come up and say that you think I'm pretty or you want to start a conversation. That's fine. But if I tell you I don't really feel like talking right now or thank you and then try to go back to what I'm doing, that doesn't mean keep going. That means I acknowledge what you said and I appreciate the compliment, but I would really like to be left alone right now. And if they say that specifically and clearly, don't get upset. It's not always about you. It could just be that I'm in the middle of a really good book, or I'm in the middle of a game that I'm into it right now, or I just don't want to talk to you right now. It happens. It's not personal. It's just I don't always go places to be talked to. Sometimes I just go places because I feel like it. And it's such a big thing that shouldn't be. And slowly I've started to notice people are starting to catch on and to acknowledge it, and hopefully we'll continue to get better. I've read a lot of hopeful stories of where a woman is jogging in the park and some guy is catcalling her, she's not listening, she's got her headphones in, and then he starts yelling profanity at her. And another woman's son yells at him when she turns around and she's going to try to do something about it. He says, hey, that's not nice. You shouldn't say that to her. And he walks away. This is what we should be doing. Guys, if you're not part of the problem, be part of the solution. If you see another one of your guy friends or just somebody on the street that's harassing a woman, say something. Majority of the time, it's going to work out better for you than it would for us. If I were to get catcalled or something and I said, don't say that to me, or shut up, or go away, or I don't want to talk to you, it is almost immediately followed up with a lot of profanity telling me that I'm uppity, or I don't care, I'm a bitch, and so on, and that's not okay. I just don't like it. And it should be okay for me to say that, but for whatever reason right now it's not. And while we work on that problem, help be a solution. Say, hey, that's inappropriate, you shouldn't say that, leave her alone. There's strength in numbers. And also, for whatever reason, guys listen to guys better. So, speak up for us when we can. Just something to think about. Thanks for listening.